Hi, my name is Erik, and I am from Team 16 for the 2025 Software Capstone Senior Design Project. So for this project, we have decided to build a web application using Flask for the backend and then Three.js for the front end. And the reason for that being is that our system is a neural network visualizer. So our client has developed a model called Sparsey. So this is a hierarchical neural network. So it has different components. So we can see that it is in layers, the bottommost layer being our input layer, and then the next layer up would be layer 1 and layer 2, and these can be 10, 20 layers high. So for our tool, we needed some robust controls to deal with scaling layers, to deal with hiding certain elements, and as well as compressing or expanding the layers as well. Then for what we are actually seeing here, so this information is being pulled from weights and biases. So our system is part of a workflow where we have a back-end testing system that is actually running and training and testing the Sparsey models. So then data from that is being stored into weights and biases with that system. So for what we have made, the visualization system, we are pulling that data back out of weights and biases and rendering it into visual elements so that the user can explore Sparsey models. So as part of this process, you can see that there is a dropdown for selecting a project. So the user is expected to select a project from weights and biases, and these directly correspond to what is in weights and biases, and we're doing this through their API. And then once a project has been selected, all of the runs within that project will be listed here as well. So a user just wants to select a project, select a run, and then click that visualize button and have their model rendered here. I've already talked about the controls panel, so we have those scaling, hiding individual elements, as well as spacing. We also have our weighted connections, so we have a button for toggling all of them at once, so we can see there are 3 different colors. So we have green that we've used for the horizontal connections within the same layer. So these are actually neuron to neuron level connections. I'll zoom in a little bit and you can see that they are going in and out of these neurons, which are the small circles within slightly bigger circles within the hexagons. So what we were looking at here is top-down and bottom-up connections. So we have magenta and blue for those two respectively. And then we can see our input layer also has some activated pixels, which represents an MNIST dataset. And then in a separate panel here, we have so that you can select an input. So as we learned previously, these neural network models are often trained on a set of inputs. So we want to see how Sparsey behaves when it's being shown this information. So as part of this, we have it so that the user is able to select the different inputs during the training and testing run in order to see the changes propagate up throughout the model. So these connections will change. These max right here, so these hexagons are called max. They are red because they're active, so things like that will be changing as the model is shown new information. And then the last feature I wanted to point out was the toggling capabilities. So another thing that our client wanted was to be able to really hone in on some of these specifics for the MAC level data. So MAC is just this hexagon, as I mentioned before. So it stands for macro activation column. So that's just sort of the structure for Sparsey models. So a user is able to click on a MAC to toggle it. They can click again to untoggle. And then here we'll see a clone of the MAC in a smaller window, as well as some extra information about that as well. So user is able to sort of explore the model, interact with it, change the scaling, and hide elements, all while being able to view detailed level of data at the same time. And that is pretty much a high-level overview of our project, the Sparsey Visualization System. We wanted to thank you for listening and take care. Bye.